seen this video, I have with me today Jhuma Sinha. She will talk about mathematics today, and she herself is a mathematician. She received that award in 2011, if I'm right.
Yes.
She's a teacher of maths at the Future Foundation School, which is also my school, and I'm very happy to share that feeling. She's also a master trainer at the Council of Indian School Certificate Examination, which conducts the ICSE and ISC examinations at grade 10 and grade 12, respectively. These are just some of the things I have talked about. Generally, we are going to talk about mathematics today, where Jhuma, as an expert, will give us a lot of insights, good, bad, ugly stuff about the mathematics, if persists, and we will share some of the views from her. So, welcome, Jhuma.
Thank you so much.
And what I would ask you, just to start with, really, how does it feel to be a maths teacher and connect the fact that at one point in life you were a maths student? Share your views from both the ends of life.
Yes, so probably this love for this subject I have carried forward with me, maybe from my past lives. This is what I feel.
Okay.
Because never was a time when I used to detest maths. So always maths had been my favorite subject. But yes, definitely that doesn't mean that I always used to score very good in mathematics, because I was as a child, and probably prone to make a lot of careless mistakes,
Okay.
So I used to make a lot of careless mistakes as a child, and that used to pull down my marks. So, but that never demotivated me to do mathematics when I was young. And my parents used to always, tell me that, is that the only subject that is taught in your school? Because they used to see me doing maths throughout the day, no other subject. As a child, having a math phobia, I really do not have that experience, But yes, of course, I was exposed to the conventional method of teaching, which has very much changed over time.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean to say, I was taught mathematics as a very dry subject, uninteresting, only full of formula and numbers, and So when I learned mathematics, it was basically a lot of topics without understanding. Very mechanically, I learned them.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, that I carried that interest or the love for the subject with me, probably. So it never, pulled down my interest on the subject. But, when I slowly I grew up in my later years, and mostly when I started teaching kids, then when I could understand that what are the factors that actually pull down the interest of a child for this subject. So then I started realizing. So it was not before, as a child, as a student, I realized this. And, then I started, going deep into the subject to find out what aspect of the subject is making it so fearful to students, or even for a lot of adults. It's a scary subject. So I started, studying the nature of the subject. And then a lot of revelation happened, and then I changed my approach towards the subject as a teacher, and tried to make things easier for them, and tried to find out what can bring in that love or that fun element into their life when they're dealing with math.
Okay, and something that you mentioned is very, very relevant, and I have seen both the sides personally. Upfront, I will say that I was a poor student in mathematics. I mean, I used to stay in the other side of the spectrum to what you actually explained just now. So the subject which I will never do, and my parents will actually force me, because that used to be, the only textbook that will remain very clean, very unmarked. You will still get the smell from the publisher's printing, that that kind of a smell that we used to get there. And so in my maths textbook, that smell will persist towards the end of the semester or session, and that used to put a lot of fear psychosis in my parents. Also within my house, within my relatives, I have divided the population into two. People who were essentially stronger in maths, they used to actually motivate me to take up the subject in the future. And there was other spectrum which will say, if possible, get rid of maths and do something else. And my whole school life and part of my university life went with, this dilemma. But I'll come back to that. I think a lot of parents who are listening to this video and a lot of students, everyone has some fear in some aspect of mind. Even if people who are like claiming to be very strong in maths as a subject from a student perspective, or even the so-called class toppers, they will also sometimes describe, and usually I have heard a lot of interviews, especially after the boards, when there are interviews of toppers who scored the maximum grades or marks. They will say that, I like this part of the mathematics, but not that part. And it has many different subtopics in the syllabus. So, first of all, the essentiality of maths in higher classes, in lower classes in life. Tell me something about it. Like some people feel that you should have maths till you die. Is it absolute? Is it a universal truth? What's your point on that?
See, even if you don't believe in this or not, like you should be doing maths till you die, maths is a very integral part of our life. Numbers are everywhere, calculations are everywhere, logic is everywhere. So mathematics, knowingly or unknowingly, is there in our life. That is very true. And as a teacher, another thing I believe also, that everyone is capable of doing mathematics to their potential. Keeping in view of the syllabus that we follow, the curriculum that we follow, there are components which probably are not that easy for everybody. But maths, in its true nature, can be done by each and every one. The problem starts when we see mathematics as some alien subject, which is no way related to our life. It is something out of the world. It is something which only very intelligent students can do or people can do. As a teacher, if we are successful of putting across maths in that light to our students, I believe there's no reason why one can't do mathematics.
To summarize what you said, which is very, very encouraging, and I think everyone who is watching this video should listen and take this as a lesson, that everyone is capable of doing maths. It's not like something which is only resorted to or confined to people who are genius. There's nothing like that. At least the basics. And I know, depending on the academic needs and interest, people can go for higher mathematics and take up more specialized branches of mathematics like you did. But I think the basics should be strong. Now, coming back to this point, I'm sure when you conduct classes, you conduct a lot of interesting workshops. We will come to that later on. You probably meet a heterogeneous group of students with no fear, with a little bit of fear, with a lot of fear. And I mean, that becomes very apparent probably a couple of days before the results or the grades come out. That anxiety, that how much did I get? I mean, I'm thinking I got like probably 70%, but why did I see it's 40%? Or why did I see, I was thinking it's 60, why did I make, how could I make 90%? Like those kind of things. My question is, especially for the weaker segments of students who are having this math anxiety, and it's a global thing, it's very discussed thing also in this part of the world. Even in the so-called the first world countries, people have this huge issue of math anxiety. Do you apply any specific technique first to reduce that kind of a math anxiety in your workshop? Or tell me something about it.
First thing is, we will have to always be encouraging, and don't point out mistakes while they are solving a mathematics problem. Instead, we should try to understand the logic behind the mistake that child is making. So I will give you an example. A child has been given to multiply 3 by 4. Okay? And the child writes the answer as 7. So immediately a reaction as a teacher is, oh, you're absolutely wrong, and I put a big cross beside it. Or as a parent also will do that and will probably scold the child that you can't do 3 into 4. How are you getting 7? I mean, we won't ask that question also. A big red cross beside the sum. But then instead of reacting in this manner, if I can say, child, yes, wonderful. I can understand your thinking behind the sum. You have actually added 3 and 4 and has written 7. But I will tell you that I have asked you to multiply, which is you have to make 3 groups of 4 and find out how much is there. So see, at the same time, what I'm doing, I am pointing out the mistake that he has made, but I am appreciating the thinking that has gone behind that calculation by the child. I am not demoralizing that child. So instead of pointing out the mistake directly or putting a cross beside the sum, if we can put it in a different way, showing the child that yes, you are appreciating the effort that he has put in. Mm-hmm. So that's why I always say that with this regard, I will state a very important thing which I would like to convey to your viewers is that never appreciate the result, instead you appreciate the effort. Many a times it happens that a child is doing very well in mathematics or whatever subject, mm-hmm. and we brand that child as a very intelligent and smart child. Mm-hmm. But actually that sets the child up for difficulties later in life. When he fails, he will just realize that he is not smart at all, and he will get demotivated. So instead of appreciating the end result, if we would have always appreciated his efforts, that would have built a lot of self-confidence in that child. And
that's actually very well said. And I think the viewers are surely already, they got some golden pieces of information from you. And what I actually liked is, for the viewers, or for the parents, I would say, it's very important to understand the teacher's perspective, especially when the instructor is sharing the story of failure. And I think what you said is very crucial in life to understand that even I can be best at something. It could be mathematics, it could be chemistry, but it doesn't mean that I have never failed. And I'm sure, Jhuma, that you have also in your school, in higher studies, you have solved a problem incorrectly, or part of it is incorrect.
I still do that.
And you already said you do careless mistakes, and that was a trend you identified in yourself. And I think this aspect can bring a lot of radical change in the way the student approaches to the problem. And I'll share something that I have found through a research. It's actually by a researcher in the University of Florida, Dr. Katie Knoll. She's an expert. I mean, she does her research in logic and a lot of things on topology she has specialized on. But essentially now she focuses on math anxiety. And one of the technique that she has developed, counseling session for psychology, she calls it EFT, it's emotional freedom technology. And she has used this by checking, she has tracked a number of students before, and then she has identified the level of math anxiety in them, and now she has applied this method, and the same students were given similar problems, and she has seen a radically different trend in the graph. A lot of people actually improve, and there is actually a very fantastic lecture on this. It's a TED Talk, so I'm going to share that video, and I think it has a lot of relevance with what we are discussing today. Moving forward, this is what, when I went to your page, and I should say that again, Jhuma has a web page where you can find all the information that we are sharing. And if you're interested to solve problems with her and communicate with her, contact her. I will also post a link of that web page on the description box. Keep an eye on that. And coming back to you, Jhuma, I will say that the first thing that I looked while reading about it, and this made me, I was at the top of the world. And just the term, and I think you will agree to that, Vedic Maths. Probably there was not much awareness about Vedic Maths to our generation. And the awareness kind of increased. We read more about it because of that, with the advent of the technology and internet and social networking and everything. And we all know about Shakuntala Devi in India. You have incorporated Vedic Maths, which is centuries old. Tell me, number one, is it a part of some kind of a syllabus right now? Number two, what is the rationale of for you to introduce Vedic
mathematics? Unfortunately, has been perceived as an aid of some, fast maths workout. But this does not justify what it actually is. So we'll have to convey this idea that Vedic mathematics is something which has empowered a lot of our scientific expeditions, of our country, when many other countries couldn't think of it also. So we'll have to first give Vedic mathematics its due respect. It has been misconceived by many as some trick of mathematics, some fast trick of mathematics. So Vedic mathematics at present is not part of I don't think it's part of any curriculum, but what I would recommend that if it can be incorporated in the curriculum and can be treated as a branch of mathematics which will help calculations more easy, more simple for the other branches. Because there are 16 sutras under Vedic mathematics or what formulas and 13 sub-sutras, and which covers almost everything. I make students do projects. Maybe I talk about one or two sutras, I teach them, but that is not sufficient. So I think that if this can be incorporated into the curriculum as a branch of mathematics, Vedic mathematics, then it will be very useful for the students.
Okay, that's actually great. And one thing it just struck me by when, so to summarize what you're saying is the knowledge of Vedic mathematics will actually, it will make the journey much smoother. Or
yes.
In other words, I mean, if I put it in Bengali, like Vedic mathematics and knowledge থাকলে আমার approach to maths অনেক easy হয়ে যাবে, অনেক smooth হয়ে যাবে,
simple হয়ে যাবে,
math anxiety-ও একটু কমে যাবে. And আমি এখানে একটা আর্টিকেল পড়ছিলাম while working towards this interview যে বলা হয় যে Vedic mathematics, and this is a very old study, মানে it's actually taken forward, যে মানে আবার a group of people যারা Vedic mathematics করছে, they are putting equal emphasis on both half of the brain. Whereas when we do the conventional mathematics or the non-Vedic mathematics, we are giving priority to one of the hemispheres or one of the half of the brain. So yes. that is actually technically a limitation. From the evolution of math perspective, what made the actual mathematics that we follow more acceptable?
I wouldn't say that Vedic mathematics has not popularized. It's not that. Because Vedic mathematics, as I've told you, it makes calculations simpler. Now, the modern mathematics that we do, like the current syllabus that we are following, it encompasses a lot of topics there. Okay? Now, Vedic mathematics, if could have been taught right from the primary classes, along with the other mathematics, it would have taught them ways of solving topics of the modern mathematics syllabus.
Okay.
So because in Vedic mathematics, you have ways of making problems simpler. What I feel is Vedic mathematics can complement our current syllabus. So it is not that if we only do Vedic mathematics and we do away with the current syllabus, I feel it won't be sufficient.
So again, bringing back to the point, you are saying that understanding Vedic mathematics, I mean, it will act as a catalyst to get better at the modern mathematics. Or in other words, it will help us to do the problems in a more simple fashion. Like you have given some very good feeds for the students. And I have read, and I'm sure you have done a lot of workshops with the teachers. For them as well as for the would-be teachers of mathematics. So what's your message? What kind of apprehension or fear you have seen within the teachers? What's your message to them to have a better world of mathematics?
First and foremost thing is, please relate mathematics to real life situations. That is very, very important to remove the phobia of mathematics among children. They should learn to see mathematics all around them. They should learn to see that mathematics is an integral part of our life. They should learn to see patterns all around them. They should learn to make connections, which is again the true nature of the subject. This is the first thing. Second thing is, as a teacher in the class, when I am transacting a lesson, besides showing them the how part, we also need to show them the why part. It is not just I walk into the class and say a plus b whole square equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square. So I think if these two things can be done as a teacher, a lot of anxiety, maths anxiety can be removed from students. This is one thing. Another thing is, please allow them to make mistakes. Let us not ensure certainty in mathematics. A big difference between an error and a misconception, that also needs to be identified as a teacher. Because the feedback that we are giving at the end of the year to students about a child's performance in mathematics is based on this. Many a times there are simple errors, but we say that the concepts are not clear for your child in mathematics. So this is again a very important thing as a teacher should be kept in mind. Never associate mathematics with speed, at least in the beginning, in the formative years. Okay, because the moment you associate mathematics with speed and you force a child to do a sum fast, again anxiety builds up. So this is especially for primary teachers. When a child is just starting to do mathematics, never ever force speed.
Child will have their own speed when they start. They don't come with an experience of, I have done so much maths. I understand the point you're trying to make. They will somehow get into a zone. With a definitive speed, they will move on to different.
Definitely in their later life, and that is again, speed becomes very important when they are writing exams.
The point that I was trying to make, and I have seen this a lot in Indian textbooks. Now I'm seeing it a lot also in the textbooks here. Before the start of every chapter, I remember when we were doing maths in 7-8, we used to follow a textbook of the syllabus. It was written by O.P. Sinha, at least till class 10. And in the that will change the color of the cover between 7, 8, from 6, I think, 6 to 10. I used to love that book to start with. And every chapter will begin with a history, like, Pythagoras' history. Do you bring this story and do you see a difference in the child when they know the story that inspires them to love that topic a bit more?
Yes, of course, I do that. And it's a very, 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 interesting and important thing. Like when I talk about zero, I first, show them some video or give them some reading material about how zero was invented. So, and also talk about, Aryabhatta and Brahmagupta. And as you said, that when I'm doing Pythagoras, I talk about Pythagoras. And also very, recent mathematicians like Ramanujan. That helps to build interest for the subject in children when they know the story behind it. And we all know that we understand story much better than anything.
No, it has been a wonderful and stimulating discussion with you. You have pretty much covered most of the important points. Probably today, if possible, down the road, we can talk more about a workshop kind of a thing over the video. Already, I'm thinking that my fear to some extent has gone down. If I can go back to school and unlearn and relearn from basics, that will change me as a person doing math. Certainly, there is interest, and somewhere my forefathers will be feeling very proud today because they have seen me struggling with the subject, and today I'm talking about a subject expert and trying to take out the positive message. And I will share that with all the viewers and the parents who are watching that please don't hate mathematics and try to understand why you are hating it. I think that's the point Jhuma ma'am has tried to give to the students. And it's very essential. Try to understand why we are hating the subject before just taking that leap that, okay, we are going to reject that subject. Maybe once we understand that part, the cause of the hatred, it will no longer be a hatred anymore.
Never ever share the idea with your children that you are bad in mathematics or you dislike the subject. That causes a lot of harm. Especially, mothers. Researchers have found out that when mothers shared their dislike for mathematics subject, achievements went down drastically in their children. So this is one very important thing that I wanted to share.
And I think we all have faced that. I mean, I personally have faced that kind of a scenario to some extent. Or even if they are sharing, I think you would agree, they should share their failures in a very positive tone. One technical thing I will ask, because I don't want to give the wrong information to the viewers. When you conduct the workshop, and I'm sure you're doing a lot of online workshops right now, is it only resorted to students? Or let's say you get some adult participants who are not in school and they really are struggling in some aspects of higher mathematics and they want to do a workshop. Can they come and participate and join in your program?
Let me tell you one thing I want to share with the viewers, that besides being a mathematics educator, I am also a performance and transformational coach. Okay? Apart from mathematics, any other issues of life that one is facing, related to transformation and performance,
Mm.
I try to help them out. So that's one area on which currently I'm conducting workshops. I'm trying to integrate life skills with mathematics.
Okay.
So I have conducted very recently in the month of January, the title of which was 10 by 10 Life.
Okay.
So you must be finding it very strange, the name 10 by 10 Life, which means that we all aspire to get 10 by 10 in mathematics, but the aspiration to get 10 by 10 in life also is needed. And both can be integrated very nicely. The approaches that you have towards mathematics, or the problem solving approach that you have towards mathematics, or the skills that you develop through mathematics, the same can be applied for your life. So that was my objective of that workshop. And I am showing them how mathematics, the skills learned through mathematics, can also help them to approach life, to combat life, to face challenges of life. So this is another thing that I'm working on presently. Yes, of course, like for higher studies, students who belong to higher classes of mathematics, definitely if they come to me with issues of performance, why they are not being able to achieve the result that they want to achieve, definitely I'll try to help them.
Okay, that's great to know, and I'm sure the people who are interested will get back to you. And this video, not only our video, but also the links will help them, because that's the first thing that comes to them. And how I can reach out this person for more specialized questions and curiosity tip, or a game plan for the kids today. Will you suggest some on this video? You can tell some kind of a funny game or some kind of a habitual exercise they can do at home that indirectly sharpens their skills for mathematics or problems.
What I would advise, instead of speaking about any one particular game, this is one thing which I always advise, like I encourage my students also to do, is solve a lot of math puzzles and games. That is really very beneficial for them. And one very important thing that I would like to tell them is a habitual practice of mathematics is very, very important for success in the subject. These are the two things that I would like to say.
And that's a very good suggestion. Puzzles, as a biologist, I can say that solving puzzles also in the long term decreases the chances of developing brain disorders and neurological disorders. So in a way, it's a very good practice to start early. No, nonetheless, thank you so much for joining me at Ghosh Company, and I'm sure
it's my pleasure.
Thank you so much again. In a very short time, we have had this lovely chat, or whatever you call it nowadays, lockdown adda, and I think our Bengali viewers will also like it, especially. And I will try to post some of the links on the description box. And বাঙালিরা যারা বাড়িতে আজকে বসে ভাবছেন যে ছেলে বা মেয়েকে অঙ্ক করাবেন কি করাবেন না, ডেফিনেটলি যান, কারণ আমাদের ভিডিও থেকে আপনাদের এটাই বলা আজকে যে ম্যাথামেটিক্স ইটস সামথিং দ্যাট ইউ নিড ইন ইয়োর লাইফ থ্রু আউট। অ্যান্ড অঙ্ক করার অনেক পজিটিভস আছে, ভয় পাওয়ার কোনো কারণ নেই। আপনি যদি ভয় পেয়ে থাকেন, আপনার ছেলে মেয়েকে ডেফিনেটলি এই ভয়টা দেখাবেন না বা এই ভয়টা ট্রান্সফার করবেন না। আই থিঙ্ক এটা আমাদের আজকে, আমি বলবো, আমি যদি একটা মেসেজ আজকে পেয়ে থাকি আমাদের গেস্টের থেকে, এই মেসেজটা আমরা পেয়েছি যে ভয় যদি আপনি পেয়েও থাকেন, সেটাকে ট্রান্সফার করবেন না, বরং এমন জিনিস করুন যাতে আপনার ছেলে বা মেয়ে যে ম্যাথামেটিক্সে ভয় পাচ্ছে বা ইভেন ভালো করছে, সে আরো ভালো হয়ে উঠতে পারে থ্রু মোটিভেশন। এর থেকে বড় আর কিছু হতে পারে না। আমরা খুব জলদি ফিরে আসবো আমাদের এইরকমই আরেকটা আড্ডা নিয়ে ঘোষ কোম্পানি। ওয়ান্স अगेन we would say goodbye to Jhuma Sinha. Thank you so much for being with us.